go darker, turn to night. Slowly when you come alive. And I could be the one, I could be a need. Nothing really matters when you're focusing on me. Yeah, I could be the burn, burning in your fire. Baby, follow me, we'll come alive. Come alive.
Good evening from a beautiful Vieste. We are at the end of day 3 of the competition here. My name is Sandy and I am joined by Greta Marchega here in the booth.
Buonasera a tutti, buonasera from beautiful Vieste, Spiaggia Lunga.
Beautiful Vieste here. As you can see, bit of cloud around and sadly a bit of a lay day today.
Yes, no wind at all.
No wind, as you can see, very calm seas, but we still had a beautiful day.
Oh yes, it's been amazing anyway.
Yeah, absolutely. We've been up to all sorts. Some of the riders, took themselves out pump foiling this morning. There was a bit of flow style going on, getting out on some big beginner boards and throwing their sails around. Guys having a bit of fun. It ended up turning into, I think, a bit of an impromptu competition.
Yes,
but
vintage style.
But one big thing that did happen, you had a lovely morning.
Oh yes, it's been amazing. So, due to the fact that there was no wind, some of the riders went to Vieste Old Town and did a tow-in show.
Yeah.
And obviously, let me tell you, Sandy, it's been insane because you had this beautiful backdrop of Old Town Vieste and riders just doing the tow-in before with some big moves, big crashes also.
That's what we
and
like.
a lot of people, stopping by, oh my God, what is going on here? Yeah. And this is actually one of the benefits of tow-in, that you can do it in the most insane places.
Yeah.
And it's been very, very special. I think it's been one of the most craziest places I've seen ever at tow-in.
Yeah.
So it's been very, very special.
Absolutely, it's one of those things you could bring the action into places that otherwise you'd never see windsurfing.
Exactly.
Yeah, and with that in mind, of course, some of the video guys went along and took some great shots. So let's check out some of the highlights from the tow-in this morning. Sick.
Ciao guys! Due to the fact that there is no wind today, we made it to beautiful old town of Vieste for some epic tow-in session. I mean, this is such an incredible place. The guys are getting ready to get in the water. Have a look of such an amazing tow-in. How was it for you to be doing tow-in such an epic place?
Yeah, actually it's the second time I'm here on the old town, and it's epic. It's like look very unique, and you have like the water straight away on the old town, and as more that you go deep, you more surprised you will be from the scenery. You look inside, it's like just look amazing.
I made a combo, I made the triple air funnel. That I love it because it's combo moves, and it's my specialty. At home I'm doing this a lot. And I love the feeling of the air funnel.
It's pretty sick because actually when you go around with a jet ski you get a 360 view of the whole place, and it's quite magic coming in with full speed and doing a trick. I think it was the crowd as well.
Yes.
And it's really cool, like just it's not the everyday windsurfing scene that we have, so it's cool to mix it up for sure.
It's just amazing. I mean, this town is beautiful. I'm happy to be here. You get a nice vision when doing the tow-in of the town, of the lighthouse, the walls, all the houses.
Obviously it's a very different place than what we usually sail, so it's nice to see all the people sort of coming to have a look here.
Yes.
And people that maybe would normally never watch windsurfing, so it was a really cool experience.
What a session. What a backdrop for a tow-in show.
Yes,
I don't
it
think
was
I've ever
pretty
seen that
special.
before.
Now, it was very, very special, Sandy. And I mean, as the riders just said, it's been very special for them, doing it in such a special backdrop. And actually, while they were doing the run up for the trick, you know, where they got pulled, they enjoyed the view as well. And there were a lot of people passing by and stopping and looking what's going on. And that's actually what Tawin is all about. The show must go on. You saw there was like 0 knots, 0 wind. The water was like oil, and they pulled up such a show. So it's just been special and incredible for everybody.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's, you know, towing, you know, there are some people out there who kind of dislike towing and frown upon it. But as you said, it really is about the show. You know, it's not... Often when we do towing at these events, it's not about a competition at all. Of course, we have specific towing competitions.
Yes.
But generally, you know, like that, there was no competitive element to it. It was putting on a show and going, this is what freestyle windsurfing is.
Yes.
And of course, for the riders, having fun. And that's the beauty of it for these events, you know. It exposes it to people that otherwise would never see windsurfing.
Exactly. And I mean, Tawin is possible to do in such amazing places. It reminds me a little bit of the Red Bull cliff diving also.
Yeah.
They pick these really special, historic, iconic places, and they bring it to places where usually people would never be able to do something like this.
Yeah.
And that's what it's all about.
Absolutely. And the same can be said for the foil style as well. You know, being able to bring these extreme freestyle moves into 11, 12 knots of wind, rather than the guys sitting on the beach going, well, we need to wait for another 7 or 8 knots that may not show up that day on the forecast. You know, like we said yesterday, we had such an epic day, all day action, and you know, watching the highlights from that. If we hadn't got the foil style, that wouldn't have happened. And equally, it was too windy to do any towing action.
Yes,
so it's nice now that whatever the conditions are, we can still see some freestyle.
Yes, exactly. And you make the crowds very happy because there's always a show, always something going on, and this is actually one of the main benefits of Tawin, but also Foilstyle.
Yeah, for sure. And talking of foil style, yesterday during the stream, we did have quite a few questions coming through. People asking how the foil boards are different to freestyle boards, which foils the riders were using. And with that in mind, I took some time today, to grab Steven van Broekhoven and Jentel Kers and get a bit of a tech talk interview, how they set up their boards, the differences in their boards. Obviously, Jentel Kers on the JP and Steven van Broekhoven on the starboard. Both look very different at first glance. We took some time to interview them and go through the way they set it up. So yeah, check that out. Here we are with Mr. Steven van Broekhoven and Jentel Kers, and we are going to have a bit of a chat about the foil setups. Steven, first of all, can you introduce us to your board here? Tell us about the design. Obviously, looking at it, it's very different to the JP. You know, it's a lot more square. People that haven't seen a foil freestyle board might be looking and kind of wondering why it looks like that. Can you talk us a bit through the shape of the board?
Okay, so this is the starboard, the Foil X 105, the freestyle version. The board is very compact, so it's like a 185 length, and it's only 63 width. So it looks very wide, but actually it's a very compact shape. So you can see it looks big, but actually it's a very compact small board.
Yeah.
But you know, we still need a lot of volume to get going. So yeah, we have some extra volume in the nose, and it helps to get flying early.
Yeah, and then Jentel, it looks similar, even though obviously it's not quite as square. Still, you can see a lot of volume in the nose on the JP as well. Can you talk a little through this board?
Yeah, exactly. This is the JP Freak Foil board. It's a similar length actually. It's 184 and 62 wide. It's a bit more rounded. It's also 10 liters less. It's a 95 liter, this one. I prefer a bit smaller board, and yeah, the boards are pretty fat just to get the volume right where you need it under the base and under the foot straps. So yeah, that's the main things where you're looking into for the foil freestyle boards.
Yeah, for sure. And then something we talked about a lot on the live stream yesterday, and I know some of you guys were talking about it earlier when we had some discussions, is the landing, especially when you're landing the moves, because the wind is a bit lighter, you can't kind of rely on that pressure of the sail to kind of keep you up at the end. So I guess how does that play into how you guys design the boards? You know, obviously you want a bit more of a stable platform when you come down out of a move, whether it's a burner, a shaka, you know, any of these things. Is that something you take into consideration when mapping out these boards?
Yeah, definitely. First of all, we're looking to foil position, foot straps and base position for the comfortable riding and doing the most. But then the rest of the board is kind of designed to plane early up at the foil, but also help a lot with the landing. We have the boards quite short, so the volume is really where you need it. but you also don't want to go too short, so you land the move and the nose will sink
Yeah.
away. And like it is in foil, you want to land up really straight because
Yeah.
you don't have much pressure on the sail.
Yeah.
Maybe Steven has something more
Yeah,
to
for
add.
sure. Yeah, Stephen, can you add anything to that?
Yeah, I think it's important that you have a flat deck. You know, when you go freestyle on, for example, on a normal freestyle board, foil style. Yeah, for me it felt like it doesn't really work because you have the really dome deck.
Yeah.
So I really like have a flat deck, like a skateboard, I would say.
Yeah.
So you have a lot of control on your toe side, heel side.
Yeah.
And it's very so it's already you're on the foil, so you really have to correct all the time with your heel and toe side. So it's not that you're just hanging, you know. So
Yeah.
it's nice that you have also when you're jibing that you know where your feet are standing, that you're not like on a bump or something.
Yeah. That was what I was going to ask about, was how flat the deck is.
That's why it's a bit more wide in the tail as well.
Right.
Because you know you also want to jibe easy. And also for landing the board you still need some volume, you know, and otherwise we could go on much smaller boards, but to get going and for landings you still need some volume.
Yeah. And then in terms of foot straps, obviously, do you set them up exactly the same as normal freestyle? You know, obviously kind of pinched together but with a big wide arch so your foot can kind of roll, or do you set them up slightly differently for when you're on the foil?
Yeah, the size of the straps is similar, but the positioning is actually completely different. You see, I have my base quite far back, so I'm actually with my front foot very close near my base plate.
Yep.
Also, I'm standing a bit wider.
Yep.
So on the freestyle board, I'm standing a bit closer for a better pop, but on the foil, you don't need that so much. So.
Yeah.
You prefer to have a bit more control, so your stance is a little bit
wider. Yeah.
Wider.
That's foot straps. What about you, Yentul? Obviously, taking a look at your board, there's a lot of different foot strap options there.
Yeah, there is a lot of foot strap option as this board you can kind of use for winging, but we're not gonna speak about winging, so we're just gonna keep not thinking about this foot strap options.
Okay, cool.
Same as Steven, we try to put the base quite far backwards.
Yep.
I keep my foot strap from height and width the same as in freestyle. Also the position in between I have the same as freestyle.
Okay.
It just makes, for me, swapping between the foil and the freestyle board just easier to go switch, not kicking my toes against the strap. That's what for me is more comfortable. But like Steven says, maybe a little bit wider stand is in some cases easier. But just for me in the mind, this works better.
Yeah,
out for
it's
me.
preference, isn't it?
Exactly.
Yeah. And then taking a look back then, so that's the boards. Having a look at the foils. I know a lot of people are going to be interested in this. We had some questions actually on the live stream asking, you know, what foils you guys are using. Yentul, while you've got the mic, can you talk us through, you know, the sizes, the measurements of the foil you use, and why you chose that?
So this is actually a new foil from Neilpride. It's just coming out right now, the first deliveries. We are lucky to have already some sample of them. This is the new Swift foil. We have an 85 mast, and I'm using only the 800 front wing. What might be, compared to Steven, a bit smaller. But because this new foil lifts so early and fast, I prefer to have a bit more speed. So yeah, this one really works out for me with the short fuselage, just for more pop, maybe a little bit less control, but I want to go big, so I prefer the shorter one.
Nice. And what about you, Steven?
This is the foil from Bals, so I can't say much about it. It's just it was already, I just passed Switzerland and I wanted to try his foil, so it was already screwed together. So I can't say much about it. It just it just works.
But it seemed to work for you.
Seems to work, yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of looked like he sandpapered it with 800.
So it's like sanded with. So I didn't touch it. It's just yeah.
I mean, when you get a foil from Balsmuller, you don't say no, do you?
Yeah, I mean, I'm borrowing it, so it's not my foil, but yeah, you know, you see his videos, so he's ripping on it, so that's why I needed it to try it.
Yeah, for sure. And what about foil placement on the boards? You know, that you've got this kind of track, so you can set it further back or further forwards. Where do you guys tend to put your foils?
Yeah, me, you can see if you compare with the mast. Actually, the mast at the moment is right underneath my back feet, so it's right underneath.
Right.
Mostly on the free ride boards or some boards with the tuttle box, the foil is behind the back strap.
Yeah.
So I prefer to have the foil more forward, so you have a really compact feel. So your base is close to you, the foil is, everything is more compact.
Yeah. And what about you, Jento? How do you have yours set up?
Yeah, for me it's a little bit different compared to Steven, as I'm using the shorter fuselage, so my mast is much more forward. But technically, if you will watch to the front wings, they will be more or less in a similar position in between the two straps. So they're roughly, if you watch on my board or Steven's board, is roughly on the same position. Only my mast is more forward to compensate the shorter fuselage.
Perfect. Cool. I think that's pretty much it. Anything further to add? Any top tips for anyone out there looking to get their first Foilstyle setup? Jento first.
Yeah, it doesn't matter which board you take. Just maybe go try and rent a little bit bigger board just to do the first steps. Once you can do that, you buy one of these perfect freestyle boards and just go sand it and have fun.
Yeah. Steven?
Yeah, I mean, just try to borrow some gear or rent and see what you like. Or, but I would recommend actually the track system, because since I have the boards with track system, you really can play with it.
Yeah.
So when you're still kind of beginner, maybe you prefer to have the foil further back, and as soon as your level gets higher, you can move it more forward, so a more extreme position.
Yeah, perfect. Well, boys, thank you very much for your time. Cheers.
Yep.
Super interesting chat there.
Cool.
Real nerding out session there.
Real insights, huh?
Yeah,
Real
insights, absolutely. But I mean, if you're going to get tips on how to set your foil up and everything like that, if you want to do some freestyle, I can't really think of better people to tell you how to do it.
No, definitely not.
Than Jento Kers and Steven van Broekhoven.
Very true.
Yeah, both of them on the podium from yesterday, of course.
True.
After the foil style yesterday, we managed to get all the way through the single, most of the way through the double elimination. We've got 6 heats left. And looking at the forecast for tomorrow, I've got everything crossed. It looks like potentially we're going to be able to finish that. Head judge Emmy, he has called a skipper's meeting for 8:30 tomorrow morning. I heard Jentel as well. For some reason, he as well. He says he thinks there's going to be wind tomorrow morning.
He's optimistic. He always is.
He is, but equally, he's also an authority. You know, he's sailed here a lot before. He knows
the spot.
He knows he knows what he's talking about, and he must have. I don't feel like he would just make that up.
No, definitely not. I mean, Jentel is traveling a lot. He's like training a lot in different spots all over the world, basically.
Yeah.
So usually when he says something, he's 99% of the time he's right.
Exactly, yeah. So I think, there seems to be a bit of a focus. I think people are hoping that we're going to be able to finish the double elimination.
Definitely would be important.
Absolutely. And then looking forward to Sunday, the final day of the event. It looks like we are going to finish with a bang.
Yes,
and we are going to get on with some freestyle. Yeah, exactly. We've got the women's fleet and the men's fleet, of course, to wrap that up. But yeah, before that, we've got some more foil style. And let's take a little look at a bit of a hype up video of what the action has been like yesterday and what we've got to come.
Competing on the foil is something completely different. We didn't know what to expect from other riders. Even for myself, I didn't know what to do exactly in the heat. Looked like it worked out pretty good. Also for the judges, everything was new and was a lot of excitement from us riders, but also from the crew, from the people on the beach. So yeah, it was a cool experience, and I'm definitely looking forward to get more wind and go up in the double.
The experience of competing against the top riders in the world has been a lot of fun so far. I'm kicked out right now by Steven van Broekhoven, but it's all good. You learn from it, like you being also like nowadays they became my friends. They help you a lot on the water, off the water, and it's fun to have some close heats against big names. It gives you a good emotion because you know you're doing it for something, and I like it a lot.
I was definitely surprised of all the riders. Actually, from the first round on, everyone was doing moves I know they can do, but I didn't expect to see them all in the heat. You know, like everyone can do some moves and it's better in one or the other. But I didn't expect that everyone would put straight like boom heats together. And yeah, I was super stoked to see. Also for the judges, and yeah, during the meeting we were all a bit skeptical about our skills, and I think it motivates us a lot, everyone to go bigger in the next events.
The single was really tricky. I mean, it didn't help being drawn against Tim in the first round, which is a tricky one.
Yeah.
But for me, I was really struggling with power. I don't know how he was planing so early or foiling so early, but really hard work pumping. But going into the double, got a little bit of more luck, had a few gusts, still really light, but yeah, managed to advance a couple so far, and yeah, still in, so hopefully we get some wind to carry on.
The feeling of getting actually a chance to get on the podium these upcoming days is good. Like, you know, the level is super close because we're all still figuring it out a bit. It's a good feeling. I'm ready. I hope we get some good wind, maybe full power for 8. That's gonna be nice because I think we can show even more than we did yesterday if we have a bit more wind, and then it's gonna be a good show.
Yeah, I feel confident, and I just more than stoked to sail more heats. I definitely want to defend the win, but it's also know that we want to sail as many heats as possible just to see where we can improve for the next events from our side, but also from judging side, and to bring everything even closer to the public, what's really important for us.
Nothing to add, I would say.
No.
Not a lot.
Jentel's done our job for us today.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, no, that was great to hear from some of the guys, doing those interviews this morning, about their thoughts on Foilstyle. Now that we've done, that single elimination yesterday, getting their thoughts on how it was. Obviously, Jamie Howard having a bit of a frustrating time. Didn't quite get the power he felt like he needed to really showcase his skills.
Yes.
But equally, as he said, he's still kind of only learning it, and the double he felt like he got a little bit back. So it'll be him up against Tim Gerdes straight away. That's the first heat that will be up in the double when we get started again. So that's going to be super excited. A lot of the riders we all had a meeting earlier today, a kind of riders general meeting, I suppose, about how the tour's going, everything like that. And a lot of the riders are kind of joking the whole time, saying Tim's the best at Foilstyle out of everyone.
He's
and we
inspiring
definitely
a
saw
lot.
That.
He's inspiring a lot.
We
that's
definitely
for sure.
saw that yesterday. So it's going to be super exciting to see how he progresses.
I am sure that after the single, the riders will be pushing even more in the double.
Yeah.
Because now they saw, okay, this is possible, this we can do, and I think they're really hungry to show what they are even more capable of. And maybe they also lost a bit their fear now, and everybody got a little bit the taste of it. I'm sure it will be pretty exciting tomorrow.
Yeah, absolutely. One thing Jentel did say yesterday, he said he especially, he has a couple of moves that he hasn't done yet in his heats, but he's like, I've got them, maybe I save them for the double and things. So who knows what we're going to see? Who knows what we're going to see?
Surprises for sure.
And with that, guys, we will be live for the pre-show for day 4 tomorrow morning at 8:30. So make sure that you guys tune in for that. In the meantime, give us a follow on Instagram at Freestyle Pro Tour for all the behind-the-scenes action. As I said, skipper's meeting is at 8:30, so we could be getting started quite quickly, depending on what the conditions are doing. Make sure you stay tuned for that. Other than that, that's it from me and Greta.
Looking forward to see you tomorrow. We know that it's Saturday, so you can actually tune in from bed.
Absolutely.
With coffee in bed. Amazing, best combo.
Yep, absolutely. And with that, have a great Friday evening, and we will see you at 8:30 tomorrow morning.
Ciao a tutti!